Let's talk about that moment. You know the one. You've put in all the hours, done all the reps. You know exactly what to do. And then the pressure hits. And suddenly it feels like your body isn't yours anymore. You feel like a completely different athlete.
Same skills, same preparation, completely different performance. If that hits home for you, you're not alone. And I want to be very clear about this right from the start. This is not a failure of will. It's not a lack of preparation. It is a predictable and understandable response to pressure. And understanding it, that's the key to finally solving it.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dig into why this happens. Then we'll look at what's actually changing inside your body and your brain. And most importantly, we're going to break down how to fix it. All right, let's start with what I call the pressure paradox. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that strange, incredibly frustrating gap that every single athlete has felt. The gap between who you are in practice and who you are on game day. Think about it. In practice, everything just flows. Your movements are automatic, your decisions are sharp, and you feel completely in control. But then you get under the lights and it's like a different person showed up. You're stiff, you're hesitant, your mind is just loud, filled with 100 different thoughts instead of that one clear action. Now let's get this straight. This is not a sign that you're mentally weak. It's a sign that pressure is fundamentally changing how your entire system operates, your attention, your body, everything. So what's really going on here? Where does it all start to break down? Well, the answer begins right up here, in your brain. You see, when the stakes get high, your brain does something very predictable. It flips a safety switch. It shifts its priority from high-level performance to basic protection. Okay, here's how that works. First, your brain stops seeing the situation as a challenge and starts seeing it as a threat. This kicks your limbic system, your emotional fight-or-flight brain, into high gear. And when that happens, it basically hijacks your prefrontal cortex, the part you use for calm, logical decision-making. Think about a defender in a huge game. He sees the play, but suddenly he's hesitant. He's playing it safe on a tackle he's made 1,000 times without even thinking. His skill didn't just disappear. His brain's priorities have just shifted from make the play to don't get beat. And this is maybe the most important thing to get. Pressure doesn't change your ability. It doesn't erase all those hours of training. It just changes your brain's priorities. That's it. Now, this brain shift leads us right into the second big problem. We get stuck in our own heads. Pressure has this nasty habit of taking things that are supposed to be automatic and suddenly forcing you to think about them, step by step. We call this the trap of conscious control. Instead of just doing the thing you know how to do, you start thinking about how you're doing it. You're analyzing your own technique in real time, which completely kills your flow and rhythm. Your brain is literally working harder to get a worse result. It's the classic example of a golfer standing over a simple 3-foot putt. In practice, it's automatic, but now they're thinking about their grip, their backswing, their follow-through, and that smooth, fluid stroke becomes a jerky, uncertain mess. So remember this. Pressure hurts your performance the moment that thinking replaces doing. The goal is always to trust your training and just let it happen. All right, the third saboteur is your attention. Your focus is your most powerful tool as an athlete, and under pressure, it's the first thing that gets stolen. When the pressure is on, your attention gets pulled away from the process and onto the outcome. You stop focusing on the task right in front of you and start thinking about the what-ifs. What if I miss? What will people think? We can't lose this game. Let's take a volleyball player serving at match point. All she needs to focus on is the toss and a clean contact. But suddenly her mind is on the scoreboard, the crowd, the fear of messing up, and that's when the ball sails out of bounds. It's a simple rule. Where your attention goes, your performance follows. Pressure wins by pulling your attention away from your execution. And finally, let's talk about the physical side of things, because your mind and body are not separate. When your brain sounds that alarm, your body absolutely listens. This is when you can actually feel the pressure. Unwanted tension creeps into your muscles, making your movements tight and slow. Your breathing gets short and shallow, which starves your body of the oxygen it needs. And your energy just goes haywire. You either feel frantic and rushed, or you feel completely frozen, like a sprinter who gets tight in the blocks and loses all that power before the race even starts. And let's be clear, having energy, being amped up, that's not the problem. You need that to compete. The problem is when that arousal becomes unregulated tension. That's when it sabotages your performance. Okay, so now we understand the why. We've broken down the 4 ways pressure gets in and messes things up. So the big question is, what do we do about it? This is where we shift from understanding the problem to solving it. Let's open up the playbook.
The real work here starts long before you even step onto the field. This is the before. First, you have to understand your own tendencies. Know how pressure shows up for you. Second, you need to build solid routines. These are your anchors when the storm hits. And third, you have to actively train your attention, just like any other muscle.
Then, for when you're in the thick of it, the during, you need a few go-to tools. Number 1, shift your focus back to what you can control. Not the score, not the crowd, just your next action. Number 2, use simple keywords, 1 or 2 words like smooth or explode, that tell your body what to do without getting your thinking brain involved. And number 3, use your breath. It's like a remote control for your nervous system. A slow, deep breath can bring that physical tension right back down.
And this might be the biggest mindset shift of all. Your instinct when you're under pressure is probably to try harder, to muscle through it. But that almost always makes things worse. The secret isn't more effort, it's better regulation. So, let's put it all together. Your performance drops under pressure for 4 reasons. Your brain goes into threat mode, you start overthinking your skills, your attention gets pulled away to the outcome, and your body gets tight. The best athletes in the world feel this too. They don't get rid of the pressure. They just get really, really good at managing these 4 things.
And that's it. That's how you close that gap between who you are in practice and who you are when it counts. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What kind of pressure gets to you the most? Is it your own expectations, what other people think, or the fear of making a mistake? Figure that out, because knowing your trigger is the very first step to taking control.